Okay, so this is something that we see a lot of, or when students arrive at HSC CoWorks, there's a lot of frustration and occasionally feelings of being demoralized because a student has put in hours and hours of what we would call well-intentioned work, but at the same time as being well-intentioned, it's ineffective. So when we are training for the exam room, we need to give our brain the very best opportunity to be able to perform under those exam conditions. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is continually simulate those exam conditions. So often when I hear students who are having this challenge, I query around their preparation, and while they might have been doing past papers, because they haven't been doing those past papers under exam conditions with no supporting resources and against the clock, they haven't set their brain up or given their brain the best opportunity to be able to perform when they do go into the exam room. And as a result of that, a fight or flight response has been triggered because there's so much uncertainty around how to perform under those conditions. So you may have heard in some of my other videos where I reference our brain's desire for certainty. So in order to be prepared for any exam, any question, we must have high levels of certainty around the foundational content. Now, I guarantee in any and every school across New South Wales, the students that are coming first, second, or third in their respective subjects, they can recall every aspect of the foundational content without even thinking about it. Now, when I'm referring to foundational content, I'm referring to the syllabus and other associated ideas, perhaps it's definitions, formulas, whatever it might be. Those students, they know that material because they are training on a daily basis with that material. So the objective for every student is to know that foundational content better than anyone else. And as a result of that, that is setting up that student to be able to move into more difficult training tasks that simulate the exam room, and then they're able to perform to their full potential when they go into the exam room. So, similar to my previous response there, our brain craves certainty. But unless we are continually training and operating with repetition when we are working with our foundational content, naturally those connections in our brains and the pathways will become weaker over time. So small training exercises every single day that allow our brain to hardwire that content is setting us up to be able to perform under exam conditions. So that really is the key, and we suggest that students should be incorporating exam style brain training every single study session. And that might only be 20 minutes, 30 minutes of brain training, but as a result of completing those tasks on a daily basis, that is setting us up to be ready for whatever questions are put in front of us in the exam room or leading into an assessment task. So an example that I use often sits around English quotes. And I might ask a student, so if you know your English quotes, do you feel more confident in writing a practice essay? And every single student I've ever asked that question of has said, yes, I would feel more confident because I feel more certain around the foundational material in that essay. So in a typical HSC English essay, there might be 12 to 15 quotes that a student uses as part of responding to any question. They'll use the same quotes to respond to a question. So with those 12 to 15 quotes, it would be my recommendation to have a master list of those quotes and then from memory, write out those quotes from memory every single day. Now, the first time writing it out might be a little bit clunky, and then I'm going to fill in the gaps. What did I miss? Next day, the student will have more certainty and more recall of those quotes. And if they're able to operate with that kind of repetition over a few days, 5 days to 7 days, that student will be able to get those quotes out very successfully. And then when I ask that student, okay, you ready to write that practice essay? No problem, bring it on.